silly viewers, this last section was a little bit short, so I apologize for that. But a lot happened, so let's dive in. We have a lot left in this book, which I'm glad about because there's a lot of things that still need to be resolved, sort of. I don't really know where this book is going, actually. So, okay, let's go back over what happened. So first of all, Nick sucks. Nick super sucks. It was weird. It was weird and it actually bothers me a little bit. And maybe, honestly, maybe I just didn't notice that he sucked because Kath was totally duped by him, so us as the readers are too. So maybe if I went back and reread the scenes with Nick, I would realize that he kind of sucked. But maybe not. It bothers me in a book where all of a sudden this character is a jerk. And it like comes out of nowhere and you're like, what? So, I mean, I get there was that one line where Levi asked, does Nick ever walk you home? And she was like, no, but I never asked him to. And so I was like, okay, yeah, it's kind of weird. Usually guys offer to walk girls home. I did like the scene where she asked Nick, like, hey, do you want to swing by my building before you go to your car? And he was just like, nah, I gotta go. So it's really weird because I feel like they really did have this good connection, but I guess Nick just really was an asshole who was just totally using her. Because it's weird. It's weird that he didn't even care about her a little. You know, like, I think that it's definitely capable to like someone and to like writing with them and also be taking advantage of them. But Nick just kind of turned out to be a big old loser. So we also had everything over winter break where Kath was really kind of spiraling downward out of control. And it's interesting because she thought that she was going home to help her dad and be with her dad and make sure her dad was okay, but she was very, very much hiding from her own problems. And they're very similar types of people, and he really, you know, did need her help a little, but, you know, he's the grown-up, and I really appreciated the scenes where, you know, he told Kath that if she dropped out of college because of him, he wouldn't forgive himself, and how, like, he's gonna try a lot harder and he's gonna be okay. It was just really interesting to watch Kath just sort of give up on everything. I actually started putting together that, you know, they talked a lot about the unreliable narrator, and I've been feeling a lot like Kath is one. You know, reading Fangirl, we are at the mercy of our very unreliable narrator because there's a lot of scenes where I don't totally trust that Kath has a handle on what's actually going on, you know? Like, Ren just seems like this monster, and her dad just seems like this pathetic guy who can't take care of himself, and everything is scary and new and bad, and I don't actually know if it really, really is Ren being a horrible sister and just totally turning her back on Kath, or if Kath is maybe taking it a lot more personally than she should. I don't know. It's interesting because there's all these things and they all seem really bad, and Kath really sort of feels like she's not to blame because everything is falling apart around her and everyone's abandoning her and things. But also Kath very much creates a lot of these problems for herself. I know that it's a mental thing for the most part, being afraid of being around people and all these things, but like, I don't know, it's really interesting to sort of try to understand situations around Kath's view of it, to find out what's actually going on. Obviously we need to talk about the scenes between Levi and Kath. I really like the way that Levi handled the whole situation. He's a really good guy because he was there for her when she needed it, he stayed away when she asked him to, but he didn't give up. And I really, really liked his question about whether or not she's rooting for him. And I really liked when he turned it back around and told her that he was rooting for her when she said that she was crazy. And Kath is just so wrapped up in these ideas. Also her meeting with her teacher and how the teacher just like couldn't get through to her by telling her everything you wrote was amazing, and Kath just doesn't care. Kath just wants to write fanfiction forever. And that's, I understand that, but at the same time I also very much understand where Ren's coming from because I loved fan fiction as a kid, and as I said in a previous video, I'd let it keep me from reading other books for probably about 3 years, but at the same time I wrote so much more in those years than I ever wrote before that or after, honestly. And I did get to a point where I realized that to continue growing and developing as a human and as a reader and as a writer, I needed to A, start reading other books again, and B, try writing some of my own original stories, which is actually why I started doing NaNoWriMo. I think a lot of people in Kath's life want to help her move past that point, but you have to really be ready to move past it yourself, and I don't actually really know what it's going to take for Kath to get there. And honestly, I thought this book was going to be a lot more about her fanfiction, but it's a lot more about the relationships around her. And the one with Levi seems like it's on the rise on the mend, but I have no idea what's going to happen with Ren, with her mom, with her classes. I don't know if she's ever going to talk to Nick again or if that's going to go anywhere. We have this much left though, so I don't really know. Okay, the last thing, I just have to bring this up. So in one of the little excerpts from Simon Snow, there was a line that if Sir Bleakley caught them talking, he might give them detention, and this detention could be, what was it? Proofreading confiscated love notes. Why would a professor need students to proofread confiscated love notes? What is this professor planning on doing with these love notes? Is he gonna like publish them in an underground magazine or something? Why would he need to confiscate love notes and then get them proofread? I don't know. That was like the last thing that we ended on with this segment, and I just can't stop thinking about it and laughing. So that's what we've got this week. A lot of things, a lot of doors open. Don't really know what the overarching message is. I feel like there's a lot of internal big issues that she has to work through, and I don't really see all of that happening in this book, but maybe letting her mom in will help in some way. I don't know. Let me know what you think's gonna happen in this last chunk. Read the rest of the book by next week and we'll meet here to talk about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.